On Friday, prosecutors in the United States unsealed a 37-count charge against former President Donald Trump. The accusation alleges that Trump would put some of the nation's most sensitive security secrets at danger once he leaves the White House in 2021. Before we begin to disclose more details about the matter, click that red subscribe button and get to see more updated news like this. According to the FBI indictment, Trump improperly handled classified materials that contain information about the top-secret United States nuclear program, as well as potential domestic vulnerabilities in the event of an attack. These documents included information regarding potential domestic vulnerabilities. In addition, the allegations allege that Trump discussed with his attorneys the prospect of lying to government investigators who were attempting to recover the records, placed some documents in boxes around a toilet, and moved others around his Mar-a-Lago resort estate in Florida to keep them from being discovered. Wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? Wouldn't it be better if we just told them that? According to the 49-page charge, Trump is quoted as saying this to one of his attorneys. Prosecutors stated that the unauthorized publication of sensitive documents posed a threat to the national security of the United States, as well as to international relations and the collecting of intelligence. On the same eventful day that the criminal charges were made public by the Justice Department, not one but two of President Trump's attorneys, John Rowley and Jim Trusty, resigned from the case for reasons that were not immediately transparent. Walt Nauta, a former advisor who is now facing prosecution, is accused of being a co-conspirator with Donald Trump. On Tuesday, the day before Trump's 77th birthday, he is scheduled to make his initial court appearance in connection with the case in a Miami court. Obstruction of justice is the charge that carries the most severe penalty, and since Trump would serve any sentences consecutively if he were convicted, the maximum amount of time he might spend in prison for this offense is 20 years. U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is conducting the case, stated during a press conference that our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Mr. Smith is in charge of directing the prosecution. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everybody. Smith said during his first public appearance since Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed him to the inquiry a year ago. We have one set of laws in this country, Smith said. Smith stated that he will work toward obtaining a fast jury trial in the state of Florida. Trump has asserted his lack of guilt in the matter. Following the unsealing of the charges, he launched an assault on Smith throughout various social media platforms. Trump said on his Truth Social platform, he is a Trump hater and deranged psycho that shouldn't be involved in any case having to do with justice. This is the first time in the history of the United States that a former president of the United States has been indicted on federal charges, and it comes at a time when Donald Trump is the leading candidate for the nomination of the Republican Party for president in the upcoming election. According to a poll conducted by Reuters and Ipsos, Donald Trump's legal issues have not yet caused a dent in his support among Republican voters. However, the allegations that were brought against him on Friday could provide his Republican opponents in the race for the presidency with ammo to challenge his credentials in the area of national security. Up to this point, the majority of them have chosen to support him. According to Matt Bennett, a researcher at the think tank on the center-left called Third Way, it's impossible to bet against Trump's staying power with the Republican base. However, the behavior that is alleged in this indictment is even more serious than we had anticipated. This might be the breaking point. Trump and his supporters have attempted to depict the case as a form of political vengeance on the part of Democratic President Joe Biden, although Biden has maintained his distance. The White House said that Biden was unaware of the indictment prior to its public release, and he later declined to comment on the matter when reporters questioned him about it. The documents were stored at both Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort and his golf club in New Jersey. The indictment claims that during the period they were at Mar-a-Lago, the club entertained tens of thousands of people at more than 150 events. It also includes photographs showing Trump's boxes placed in various locations, such as on a ballroom stage, in a club toilet, and in a storage room, where some boxes were laid out on the floor. According to the indictment, the confidential documents originated from 7 different federal intelligence agencies, some of which include the Department of Energy, the CIA, the Pentagon, and the National Security Agency. One of the documents involved the support of terrorism by a foreign nation against the interests of the United States. According to the prosecutors, Trump gave another person a paper from the Defense Department that was portrayed as a plan of attack against another nation. The indictment further says that Trump and Nauta conspired to keep classified materials that Trump had removed from the White House and hide them from a federal grand jury. This allegation relates to the conspiracy that was mentioned above. In connection with this case, Nauta, who worked for Trump both at the White House and at Mar-a-Lago, is accused of 6 separate offenses. According to the indictment, Nauta lied to the FBI when he said he did not know how some of the documents got into Trump's suite at Mar-a-Lago, when in fact he had been engaged in transporting them there from a storage room. Nauta also told the FBI that he did not know how some of the documents got into Trump's suite at Mar-a-Lago. And counsel for Nauta declined to comment. Almost 13,000 documents were collected by investigators at Mar-a-Lago almost a year ago. Even though one of Trump's lawyers had earlier stated that all data with classified markings had been returned to the government, 100 of the records were still designated as having a confidential status. Trump has stated in the past that he declassified the papers while serving as president. However, the indictment charges that he admitted that he lost the right to do so once he left office. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, who was appointed by President Trump, has been given the initial responsibility of presiding over the case, according to a source who was briefed on the subject on Friday. According to the source, who requested anonymity in order to discuss the matter, she might also preside over the proceeding. Cannon, who was chosen by Trump in 2019, made headlines the previous year when she ruled in favor of the former president of the United States during a crucial stage of the lawsuit, but her decision was overturned on appeal. Cannon was appointed in 2019. It is the second time that Trump has been charged with a criminal offense. In March of 2019, Trump is scheduled to stand trial in New York for a state case that stems from a hush money payment to a porn star. If Donald Trump were to win the president for a second time, he would consider seeking a pardon for himself, a legal step that would be unprecedented as well as unpopular. However, he would be unable to prevent the state from proceeding with the case against him. The case does not bar President Trump from campaigning for the presidency or from assuming office if he were to win the election for president in November 2024. Even if he were to be found guilty and sentenced to prison, legal experts say there would be no reason to prevent him from taking the oath of office. A second criminal investigation is being led by Special Counsel Smith into the attempts that President Trump and his associates are making to overturn his loss in the 2020 election to Democrat Joe Biden. There is a second criminal investigation being conducted against Trump in Georgia in connection with the efforts to reverse his loss to Biden in that state. So what do you think about this? Let us know in the comments section below. If you're new to our channel, then subscribe to us and press the bell icon before leaving.